Why am I always on the financial struggle bus? And why is it so hard for me to figure out how to get off of it for good? A thought occurred to me the other day. It started when I took a look at my finances. 2 months ago, I decided not to let my pension plan that was provided to me by the province decide how my money would be invested, because usually, as long as you keep it in the S&P 500, again, not financial advice, and leave it for a long time, you'll do better and you don't charge yourself fees. Just throwing it out there. The way that the pension plan worked, they will cut you a check if you move it out early for any potential future gains that they believe they could have gotten for you. So I got another check on top of that for another $9,000, I think. It was taxed, so it went down to about 6,400, 6,500, somewhere around there, which just happened to be my bank balance, or my balance on my credit card. So I paid it off in one shot. It was gone. I should have invested that money, but to be honest, I was losing more through keeping that balance on my credit card than I could have possibly earned from that money between the time when I put it in my account, or when I invested it, and when I actually retired in whatever, 19 years. So the very next thing I did was focus on paying off my line of credit, right? Any normal person would do that. Of course I did that. No, I did not. This was about the time when I transferred this money over that I lost my job and discovered that EI could just randomly, arbitrarily decide that my full-time hours didn't count, and then would back out of paying me as a result of that. So, 30 plus years of full-time didn't mean anything, and now I have no money coming in at all. So that wasn't great, but I was kind of desperate, so I had to use my credit card to pay for things like groceries and, other things, issues with my cat, lots of appointments and whatnot, because she was just so sick. And anyway, so that was not great. I spent that entire month and a bit using that card for everything. I ordered food, shouldn't have done it, but I did. Pizza, did that too. Shouldn't have, but I did. Groceries, put on the card. Everything for my cat, including her food, put on the card. Then I got a job, which was great, but it required scrubs, and scrubs are not cheap. So $400 right there, just on scrubs, put on the card. And I just kept going and going and going, and it's been not great since. I'm now at the same level that I was when I initially got that several grand a couple of months ago. And I don't know how I got there. I think I just go onto this autopilot thing where I'm like, yep, I need that. So, cha-ching, take the card out, not done. I don't think when I'm spending, I think after I've spent that I shouldn't have spent. And I don't know if it's a result of chasing that dopamine hit, thinking, just somehow convincing myself that I need these things and then just buying them, which doesn't seem right. Now, I've watched hundreds of hours of financial YouTuber videos, whether it's, Caleb Hammer, Graham Stephan, name them all. I've probably watched at least 10 of their videos, at least. And any one of them will tell you that one of the worst financial mistakes, other than buying a car, which I'm still going to be dealing with for a long time, is spending on your credit card when you don't have the money to pay it off at the end of the month. It's a really good way to get points for those of you in America. You have a lot of really good credit card programs that we don't here in Canada. And a lot of them, when you don't have the money to pay it off, you're basically giving the credit card companies money. You're saying, hey, feel free to charge me 20% interest or 30% or 40% or whatever. Thank you for loaning me the money. Except it shouldn't be a loan. It should just be something that you buy just as a matter of convenience, but that you have the money for in your account. Because if you don't do that, it's a slippery slope, and it gets slipperier as it goes along. And you can really drown yourself quite quickly. Ask me how I know. You can't spend the money on the credit card thinking my boss said I was going to get this X amount of money at the end of the month, or my sister said she'd pay me back, or you know, I made a huge bonus this month because I got this many sales. And meanwhile, there's some technicality for any one of those situations, and now you don't have the money, but you've already spent it on maybe something that isn't returnable, like a non-refundable plane ticket, or, you know, food, or whatever, a service of some kind that they refuse to pay, refuse to refund you for, any of those things. And stopping yourself from doing that in the first place is going to be more advantageous down the road than not. Spending is fun. I'm not gonna lie, I like it. I like going to the store. I like looking at shiny, pretty things. I always have. I've always been into the whole sparkle, shiny thing. It's very attractive to my eye. And I struggle to see something beautiful and not want to just, you know, shut up and take my money. It's not good, but I love it so much. Oh my God. So yeah, not a good idea. Now, when it comes to buying a house, in America, you guys are very fortunate in some ways, specifically with the length of your interest rate. Because if you bought at 1% or 0% or, you know, 2%, 3%, whatever, you can lock that in until your house is paid off. That's not an option for us. It never has been. I hope it will be someday. I don't see why the banks would lose their minds if they couldn't constantly go through the 5-year renewal process and, you know, keep charging us more and more and more. So buying a house is even more risky out here because not only is everything wildly expensive right now, but those interest rates kill us, because we may have bought at 1% and it may be perfectly well within our means. But if the rates jump to 11% 3 years down the road and they don't go back down before it's time to renew, guess what we now have to pay? And at the end of that 25-year term, you could have paid way more in interest than you would if you'd been able to lock it in, which is why the banks will never support a move away from that, because they're just making a killing off of us. The thing that bothers me about all of this is that I know how to save. I know I shouldn't, or at least I know that I should save. I know I shouldn't spend on the latest hobby that I find interesting for the moment, or go out for dinner with people, or whatever, just buy things that I don't need. I've become over the years very good at rationalizing things that I need, which is very much to my detriment. There are a lot of things that I've purchased that I could easily have lived without. And my apartment is a bit of a testament to that. This area looks clean because I make it look that way. You should see the rest. There is stuff everywhere. And I love to organize. I just don't have the storage space for anything that I've got in here. So every surface has stuff on it and I hate it. It's chaotic and it raises my anxiety. So I have to do another cleanup, get everything organized, get all the stuff off the floor, get all the stuff off the surfaces, and figure out how I'm gonna do this, because I don't know what I'm gonna do. All the tips and tricks that anyone could ever tell you about saving money and avoiding situations where you might need to spend money or anything like that, such as, like, a lot of times what happens is we'll go over to a friend's house to play cards or board games or whatever, and it'll become dinner time on a weekend and none of us will have eaten, and so then we'll want to order out, or the hosts will go and buy something for us all to share, and then people will kick in. I can't afford that. I can't do it. And other times we will go, you know, do you want to go to a movie? Yeah, sure, let's go. And then they buy all the seats and then you have to pay them back. I can't. Like, I don't have any extra money, and working part-time currently isn't helping me all that much, but it is very good for my mental health. So I'm willing to stick with it for now to see what happens. And I'm very excited to go to school. I think it could be a very lucrative career eventually, but it's just gonna be a while before I get there. So I gotta struggle. Again, more time on the struggle bus. Like, I don't know how people can avoid those situations. They happen, and again, anyone in finance will tell you, you should set some money aside for when something like that happens. But when you're so busy on that treadmill trying to pay off the other things you spent on, you're going to be probably tempted, let alone guaranteed, to grab that money that you had set aside for a rainy day and put it on the payment or on the debt, either as a form of payment or just as something to lower that X amount of interest rate that you're paying. So it's hard to figure out how you get past that, how you force yourself to understand. Because I don't know about you guys, but I'm really good at procrastinating. I can come up with any reason that I want to do something. I'm exhausted. I'm busy. I want to read. I haven't played Magic this week. I need to make my meals for the week. I need to clean. I'd rather go walk the dog with my friend. She has the dog, not me, just so we're clear. It's nice outside. I should go for a bike ride. I feel like shopping. All of those things can stop me from doing something else that I need to do. Even the cooking, which I hate. Sometimes I'll use that as an excuse to not do something else. It's a toxic slope. So as many of you know, I'm going to school in September to learn to be a jeweler, to learn jewelry design, but also just learn, how to do things with soldering and stones, how to work with them without obliterating them, temperatures, all that stuff that you need. So the thing that I've been trying to learn is sand casting, where you kind of just like take a ring like this one that I made and put it in the little sand, it's not a crucible, I can't remember what it's called. You pack it with sand, and then you put this in here, and then you pack the top half with sand, and then you pull them apart, take the ring out, heat up the silver with some solder and some borax, and pour it into a little hole. And then once it's cool, you dust all the sand off, sand it down so that it's got a nice smooth surface, and now you've cast yourself a ring. Sounds wonderful, right? It's easy. Yeah, beautiful. But the thing is, it's so easy to buy all the other stuff that you're going to need when you know you're going to do other parts of the jewelry making process. So I needed the crucible to put the actual silver in. I needed the torch and the butane for the torch to melt the silver. I needed the silver. I found some old rings that I made, a spinner ring with 4 smaller rings. Last time I did that, well, before this one, the class I took before this one. So I'm gonna melt that down and try to make something into it. But I've also found some earrings that I think may also be silver because they're quite heavy, way heavier than they would be if they were just some sort of, brushed metal or whatever. And then the borax to stop, like not only to season the crucible, but, and the flux plus the solder. And then I had most of the little hand tools and whatnot, the rounded pliers, like every kind of plier that you could possibly think of. I had most of them already just because of other projects that I've worked on. So that was one way that I saved money. But did I really need all of the other stuff that I bought? The heat-proof gloves are great, but I'm using a crucible and I'll have a whole bunch of heat-proof bricks and whatnot around it. Did I need that? No, but it just felt so good to order everything and have it shipped here. I didn't need to, but I did. And there's still 5 or 6 other things that I want to buy that I know I'm going to need in the future. Do I need them right now? No, but I still want to buy them. I still shop for them every day looking for a half decent price. I hope that someone locally is going to sell a bunch of stuff secondhand and that I can just jump in there and get what I need. But this is a pretty small town and the chances of that are quite rare. So I don't think it's gonna happen. I still want to though. Like why? Why do I do these things? Anyway, I don't know what the point of this video was. I just need help getting off the struggle bus. I don't know if any of you have any idea what I can do, but I'm so distracted all the time and I don't know what to do. I don't know. I'm just everywhere. Anyway, have a good week. Hopefully yours is better than mine and that you're not struggling like I am. It is very nice outside, so I'm probably gonna go for a bike ride because God knows that does wonders for my mental health. It always feels good. And my friend got back from a big long holiday today, so if she's awake at a half decent hour, then maybe we'll take her dog for a walk. More sunshine and doggo love. Can't go wrong with that, All right, have a good week.